And I feel like no one uses your name anymore. So like from the hospital, I remember one, like Sophia, my eldest, and someone's like, Sophia's mum. And then when you had like the midwife visit, it was like, how are you feeling, mum? Like everyone suddenly calls you mum. And I was like, my name is Jess. Like I was like, wanted to scream.
Welcome to The Village by Emma's Diary. I'm Grace, a mum, a slight oversharer, and I have definitely gone through an identity crisis post-kids.
And I'm Jess, a mum of 4, and I've said, I'm fine, when I really wasn't fine.
And today's episode is a big, juicy, fat one, and we're talking about identity and questioning who you are post-birth, when you're pregnant, and in the early stages of being a mum.
Because there's that weird time where you become so-and-so's mum and you kind of lose who you are. And so we're going to talk about all of those things today.
We're diving into relationships, friendships, and the grief that comes when you become a mum.
And we've got 2 incredible guests who are going to be sharing their stories with us today. So we've got the wonderful Rachael, who is a mum of 2, and she's going to be sharing supporting yourself through going through that identity question and also supporting a partner, and the wonderful Rosie, who is also a mum of 2. All the mums of 2s are here. And she is going to be talking about a huge journey that you've had with not only having a baby in the NICU, but something really personal to you as well, which is a huge life-changing event, which was being diagnosed with breast cancer. So we're going to be talking about all the raw, big feelings today.
Welcome to The Village, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. So identity, becoming a mum, it's a very loaded question. When did you kind of wake up and think, I don't feel like me anymore?
I think for me, I didn't actually realise until I went back to work after maternity leave. So I felt a lot of my maternity, I was kind of in a little bit of a fog, just going with emotions. Like you don't really do much outside of like looking after your baby, to be fair. I didn't see many people, and then I went back to work and started having all these adult conversations, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, I am not the same person that I was when I was last year. And then I started to realise, I thought like I've let myself go, like having to go into work and like find something to wear that wasn't like joggers. That was like my mum uniform basically.
Leggings and a baggy top.
Joggers,
The best uniform.
Best combo.
It is, yeah. And to be fair, I still love it.
Me too.
But yeah, like having to like actually get myself dressed, and then I got to work and realised like I didn't really know myself anymore. Like I was a totally different person. But yeah, at the same time, like.
What about you, Rose?
I think it took a couple of months. Like at the beginning, you're just in this routine and you're just like running off adrenaline.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, is this it? Like I'm so tired.
All the time to your bones.
Yeah, so tired. And it's just, I know your partner goes back to work and then you're just doing all the baby stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to like feel like yourself. Also, you just don't have time.
Yeah.
You always think like, why can't they shower? I don't understand. Why are they saying they can't wash their hair? But like those tasks are
Until you're in it.
Until you're in it.
at the start. Yeah.
And I feel like no one uses your name anymore. So like from the hospital, I remember one, like Sophia, my eldest, and someone's like, Sophia's mum. And then when you had like the midwife visit, it was like, how are you feeling, mum? Like everyone suddenly calls you mum. And I was like, my name is Jess. Like I was like, wanted to scream, because from the very get-go, you suddenly have this new title.
Or just mum.
Yeah, and then you're just mum and so-and-so's mum, and you kind of lost that. And I was like, my name is Jess. And then I felt guilty for feeling that, because I was really excited about this new title. But also I was really grieving that part of just being Jess. That was it. That was
And the
only
grief
way I
is
was
so
knowing.
real.
Yeah.
And I think when I became a mum, I didn't expect to grieve so much.
Yeah.
Of like, and I actually think I like myself more now, but I still find myself like missing parts of like who I was before then, like the more freedom and like not having to worry or even think. I feel like I didn't think before kids. Now I think all the time.
Or worry.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, the worry
like,
is like next
you
level.
really
isn't it?
didn't worry about important things pre-kids. And now it's
No.
like, you just worry about
And if
them.
like one cough, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Side-eyed everyone.
yeah, like, who's going to get sick in the house? Because you have,
Yeah.
it's like a different level of responsibility, I think, when you become a mum.
Yeah. And did either of you feel that guilt or relief? Because I feel like for some people it's relief. They're like, right, okay, I've got this new title. I am who I am. I know that things are evolving. And for other people, it's actually, no, I feel a bit guilty for having this shift and for this whole life change to be happening.
I don't know if I necessarily felt guilty, but it is hard to navigate. Like, you don't really know how you should feel, and you are, I don't know, a bit worried. You're meant to be enjoying this, and you don't want to say to anyone, do you? Like, this is really hard, or this is not what I thought it was meant to be, because you're meant to, like, really enjoy it, aren't you?
Yeah. And sometimes you don't.
No.
I'm like, this was weird. Also, like, respectfully, I love my children, but when they're babies are really boring. they're just them, and suddenly you're like, it's just bizarre, the whole shift. Because one day, and I think it's an incredible miracle, but one day they're like inside your body, and then they just exist, and they're just there, and then you're like, what do you mean? And then everything revolves around them, and then you're not you, and then you're trying to navigate that and navigate learning who that person is as well as who you are now.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a spiritual experience to like have these identities placed on you, and then like one by one like peel them off and realize like, okay, so who am I without being like the mum, without like my trauma, without this thing that's like, who am I? And I think that when I became a mum, I really had to explore like, okay, so who actually am I? Because I feel like I'm a different person to who I was back then. I'm now new, and who is that? What does she even look like? What do I feel like?
Yeah.
And I'm 3 years postpartum of my second, and only now I feel like my hormones have leveled out.
Taking a little time.
And I can wear a pair of heels. Do you know what I mean? Like, it takes a long time to like get back into like a little bit of who you was, but also like the new you.
Yeah.
Don't they say it takes like 2 years though to like fully return to your normal self, like the way that
Well,
your
they said
brain.
no, it's actually 7 years.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot
Well,
of
7
sense.
times 4 is, I don't do maths, but that's a lot of years for me to work out who I am. That's a lot. And I don't think I even became the person who I thought I would be. Like, we've said it a lot, haven't we? Like, you parenting the imaginary kids and who you think you're going to be as a mum. Like, I thought I was going to be like blooming Mary Poppins. Like, I thought I was going to be living my best life. I'm not. Well, I'm a little bit. I love spreadsheets and colour-coded calendars, but I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe I didn't have an expectation, or maybe I did, but I don't think I became the mum that I thought I was going to be. So, Rachel, did you feel like you parented how you expected to be, or actually it was completely different?
I think for me it was quite hard because the way that I like came into motherhood I didn't expect. So like I didn't come out until I was in my early 20s, and my wife is like the first girl that I've been with, so I married the first girl that I was with.
Love that for you.
So like growing up I had like a vision of how things were going to be. When I met someone and settled down, I always thought I would meet a man and I would settle down and have my children, so I never ever imagined that I wouldn't be the one who would carry any of my children. So then when it came to like having those conversations about having children, and we'd always decided my wife would go first because she's like older than me, like 5 years older than me, so it just made sense. So I always knew that was the way it was going to be, but that's not the way like I expected. I'm quite maternal, and I wanted to be like the nurturer, the feeder, the comforter and everything, so it was quite hard for me to let go of that and have her have that experience first. And obviously I was supportive, but I felt like I kind of grieved that in a way, so that was something that I didn't really expect.
That's completely different.
That's so interesting.
It is.
Yeah, like you're a mum, but like you haven't got the mum stuff like going on.
Yeah,
Do you know
the
what I mean?
hormones, I didn't, the body changes, all of that. I didn't get any of that. And then also like when our daughter came along, I didn't have that loss of freedom. I did in a way because obviously I wanted to be at home. I didn't want to be like out and about.
Out on the town.
You know, like so I was like, but then she was like solely breastfed, so I didn't have that like sense of like, oh, when does the baby need to be fed? Like she had to deal with a lot of that. And I mean, I think we both were envious of each other in different ways.
Yes.
Because I was envious of her because I wanted that role, I wanted that maternal, like, but she was envious of me because I wasn't losing the sleep and I wasn't the one who was like experiencing the body changes and being needed like all of the time. So
That's so interesting, because I think we not take for granted, but we don't think when you've become a mum and you've been the birthing parent, you don't necessarily think that actually people become mothers in so many different ways. Not everybody carries their baby. People adopt, people are surrogate mothers, people have all different fertility journeys. And so you don't even realise that actually becoming a mother doesn't always necessarily mean you've had the physicality of giving birth, and then what that looks like. So it's so interesting to hear that, because I don't think we ever really consider that when that's not been your journey. And I think it's important to highlight, because there'll be loads of people who relate to that. Loads of people who relate to that that maybe don't have or can't articulate it and say, this is actually how I
And families
felt.
look different for everyone. It's so nice to have you here to kind of showcase that as well. So thank you.
And Rosie, what about you? Was it what you expected? Because you've obviously got two as well, and I know obviously the second time round was really significantly different. What did that mean for you?
So Rudy was born 8 weeks early. My waters broke completely out of the blue, and I wasn't prepared. Like, I hadn't bought anything yet. Like, I was just about to start doing that. You know, I was like, I've got 8 weeks now, and it was actually really scary. The 2 days before he was born, I was in hospital, and we were like trying to keep the baby in. Gave me steroids for his lungs, and in my head, I thought like a 32-week-old baby was going to come out looking like an alien. Like, I really, I didn't want to Google it, but I was like so scared. And then I remember being there on my own, like overnight. And I remember thinking, I didn't know if I was going to come home with the baby. Like, it was really up in the air. But anyway, he was born, and he was a great weight, and he was perfect. He was just small and needed to stay in for 3 weeks to like get bigger and stronger. But that wasn't, that was not the way I thought I was going to start motherhood. It was all quite traumatic. I think it's really made me overprotective of him. Like, I'm still like that now because he was so precious. I haven't really let anyone look after that. We don't go out, basically. Not just for that reason, but I have been like really overprotective of him. So I mean, I didn't start motherhood. I started it early, 8 weeks early. And then obviously with Ray, I got diagnosed with breast cancer the week before her first birthday. So it was such a shock. And when you were just talking about it takes, how many years?
2 years.
2 years.
Two to seven.
To get your hormones back to normal. And I've just had my ovaries removed last month. So my hormones are all over the place. And I feel like the past really, since I got diagnosed to now, has been really difficult. And also, I don't feel like I've been the mum I would have been because I've had to be away from them quite a lot. I've had lots of surgery, I've had chemo and stuff, and that really upset me. Especially the first year while I was going through treatment, I was absent so much. Rudy had only just started school, like the week before I got diagnosed, and I'm a mum that would be at the school gates, and I just thought, oh my God, the mums are just going to think I'm this mum that doesn't care, or I'm, not around, when it was for a much bigger reason, and no, it hasn't been. It's been tough.
I keep saying it's such a privilege to have a standard or average way of your child coming into the world and it being fairly somewhat box standard, because actually listening to other people's stories, you realise just how complex and how different everyone's motherhood journey is, and the expectation. But the thread that I guess connects everyone is that it's never what we expect. There's always some sort of pivot.
I think there's often a pivot. I don't think there's many standards. Births or anything anymore. There's a lot more like intervention and stuff, isn't there? And inductions, which are kind of unnatural.
My wife was induced, and
And then what about when you had your second child? So did you, because you said your wife carried your first, and then did you carry your second?
I carried the second.
So what was that experience then? Because that would have been completely different from the first.
Yeah, completely. So obviously that was me, my body changed and stuff, and my wife had a really, really hard pregnancy, really hard labour. She was sick all the way through, constant pain. Our birth just went awful. She was induced. Had a lot of intervention because of that. And after witnessing that, I was like, that's not going to happen to me kind of thing. So I did all these hypnobirthing courses and stuff like that, a lot of prep. But my pregnancy was I just sailed through it compared to her. And I love being pregnant, absolutely loved it. So she was a bit like, so I had a really, really good birth. And like obviously it's totally different. Like I had all the hormonal changes and stuff after, and you can watch, like I watched her go through it, and you just don't understand it until you've been through it. And like for me, she's quite a strong person normally. I think before she was pregnant, I could count like on one hand the amount of times I've seen her cry and stuff, but then that time postpartum she was really vulnerable.
You cry all the time. Over everything.
Does that ever stop? Because I'm still here crying. I need to know when that, does that ever come back down? Because I love a cry. I love a good cry.
I don't really cry that
Do you?
much.
Oh my God.
Oh, I've always
Like,
been a
how
crier.
Couple
often do you
times a
cry?
week.
Do you?
Couple times a week.
Yeah.
Easy.
I don't really cry.
Yeah. In the car, in the cupboard. Jess is always just. I think
I've
it's.
got to get out the pent up energy. The rage used to come out.
It's got to come out. It's got to come out. Is there moments that I think, big or small, that change the sense of who you were as a mum? Because for me, I've got 4, and each of those children are very different. And so just as a parent, I'm a different mum to each of those people. And then also their ages are different, because I feel like they all need something
got a
different.
teenager.
Yeah, I've got a teenager. Let's not even go there. I'm not going to scare anybody because your kids are younger than mine. That's fun. But she needs a completely different version of me, to my 7-year-old, to my 4-year-old, and then my 5-year-old who's actually also got additional needs. Like they all need a different version of me, and that's completely shifted who I thought I was. Because when I had Sophia, I thought I was this mum. Then I had Isabella, and then I was that mum, and then it kind of goes on, and we've all got multiple children. Have you felt that there was a moment that actually this is shaping who I am, and I'm becoming a slightly different version of mum than I thought I would have been?
For me, going through breast cancer really puts everything into perspective.
I imagine.
And you know, just the fear of not being around for my kids, it really makes you kind of appreciate the time that you have. And I guess it's made me, I really try not to stress about small things anymore. I think it's really helped me manage my stress, because a lot of things just don't matter, which I used to get stressed out about.
Yeah.
So I think...
you have a different reference point, don't you, when you've gone through like big medical trauma.
You say this as well, don't you?
You just see things differently, and people that haven't gone through it won't always understand. Like, that doesn't bother me because I literally was like half dead.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people like I was literally half dead.
Yeah.
So that doesn't bother me. So I completely resonate with that.
Yeah, 100%. I think, until, like you say, until you've kind of been near a near-death experience, it just, nothing really matters. You don't get that clarity unless you've been through something like that.
Yeah, which I imagine is well, it's life altering. Whether you're a parent or you're not a parent. Yeah. But that added layer of
it's a positive that's come out of it, because it's, without that experience, I probably would have just carried on, you know, moaning about things that really don't matter.
Or crying in the cupboard over Cheerios like Jess.
The kids doing things that you could get really annoyed about, but it's like, oh, it doesn't, like, who cares? It's not a big deal.
Yeah, you kind of just brush it off.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we've gone through like some serious stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, so they've like drawn on the wall. Yeah. We'll get over it.
Yeah, magic sponge.
Does that work? Then I need about 10,000 of them.
Paint, by the way.
I've got that. I've got that. Go on.
So if anyone gets anything from this whole podcast session about your identity, it's like buy washable paint, because they've got to draw on your wall. That is what they're going to do.
I feel like as a parent, you do. Like the growth that comes with being a mum, I never realised was even a thing. Like it can like alter your life and shape you, and like the evolvement, is that a word?
It is now.
It's a word now. You evolve differently when you have a kid, especially when you've gone through trauma. It's like the fight you have and the drive you have as a mum. Do you feel like you've grown since becoming a mum?
Yeah, I think I've definitely grown, and the patience you learn as well when you're a parent.
I'm still learning that one.
Oh my God, it takes a lot of patience. But yeah, I feel like you do just naturally grow as a parent, because you learn on the job, don't you? You can't prepare really to be, you don't know.
You can, but you
cannot.
No,
you can't at all. Especially I think the early days, nothing can prepare you. You're just, you learn as you go along. And it's constantly changing, isn't it? Like their sleep or what they're doing or, you know, what
Yeah.
they're up to with each milestone and age, you
Yeah.
have to adapt as well.
Yeah, it's a constant evolvement, and I feel like then as they get older, it shifts again. Like their
Yeah.
needs shift, so then you shift, and how you parent shifts. I think me and Trevor, we were quite young when we had. I keep saying young. I think 22 is fairly young.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do
We
think
had
that's,
Sophia when we were 22 and only knew each other for like. Anyway. She was born like 2 months before our 1 year anniversary. Anyway, of when we met. But we were really young, and we had to navigate this massive thing while also still learning who each other were, because we didn't have this long relationship before we had the children, and had to kind of support each other through that, which I think was quite difficult because we were quite young and still trying to understand who each other were. Rachel, how did you find supporting each other through that change, and I guess growing together but navigating what that's like? Because I think it's quite tricky, and I'd love to hear from your perspective, because being the birthing parent, I never actually realised what maybe he was thinking or feeling not being the birthing parent when you go through that.
I think it's just a lot of communication
Yes.
as well, like checking in with each other, seeing what each other's thinking, what we need, kind of thing. And it's really hard, like, because you do feel sometimes like you're on different pages, and especially when you've got 2 children as well. If you've got a toddler and a baby, you are like completely separated. And I think in my situation, like, we co-sleep separately as well. So I was saying this before, we're in,
like
do you?
beds.
We're in different beds, and whenever I say this to people, they're like completely shocked. It's because children are very needy.
I'm like, safe space here, we're all
Yeah.
like 100%
Yeah,
relate.
I mean, your kids are in your bed all the time.
Yeah, I wake up all the time.
Do you sleep at all?
I actually sleep better when they get into bed, because then
Same.
I'm not
You.
having to get up to go
Yeah,
to their
yeah,
room. And
I
I don't think people get that bit.
I think I settle down as well when I know, like, because we have been trying to get my son into the nursery. Like, we put him in at the start of the night. He maybe lasts like an hour, but sometimes it'll be like until I go to sleep. And like, I much prefer when he just comes in before I go to sleep, because then I know he's there.
I
And I
do
don't
too.
have to get up and go in and like,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
love
an
it.
easy life. But then,
It is.
yeah,
It's
I know.
easier. I think everyone's different, and people don't realise that. And then when you do say, because I say it all the time, I hear the kids, and people are like horrified. And I'm like, but I actually get the most sleep. Like, that's easier for us. Everyone's different. But,
But
for
it's
us,
also
actually,
like,
it's easier.
what's the word?
Calming.
But
Yeah.
animals do it, and
Yeah.
like in other cultures, it's like very, very normal.
Normalised,
Yeah,
It seems to be like
absolutely.
in like the Western world, it's like not a thing, but it's very much a thing
Yeah.
for like me and my family.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever gets you
Just
through
sleep.
is my whatever gets the sleep
Yeah.
is what you and your
Yeah.
family need to
Have
do.
to do
Because some of my friends were like, no, they have to go in a separate room. They sleep out. I sleep out. Brilliant.
Cool.
That works for you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's every toddler and in my house is in my bed, then
Yeah.
then we all need to sleep. That's fine. Trevor will sleep in a different room. If he's on shift, he goes into a different room. Like, whatever happens, I'm just like, if they lay their bed and they're warm at night, no matter where they fall,
Yeah.
that is-
Yeah.
we just get
Like
on
my
with it.
partner's was like,
Yeah.
oh, can we just like, get their kids in their own beds? No. I want them close. They're only like 3
Yeah.
and soon to be 5. They're babies still, all right? No.
Yeah, they're two tiny babies, so it's
And
fine.
it doesn't last for long. That
No.
This is it, isn't it? Like, we're gonna
you
be.
miss
Although we
you
say
will
that, if
miss
I'm at
it.
my mum's house, I would get into bed with my mum and cuddle.
It's
Even
that
at
comfort that
36,
never
yeah.
ends, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mummy, like.
Yeah.
Well, you were 22 when you had
Sophia.
Sophia.
Yeah.
Were you a much more relaxed, like chilled mum because you were young?
I don't
Young,
know.
wild and free, girl.
Yeah, I know.
Were
I'm still like
you?
trying to do shots on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't know. I feel like she, like, this sounds really cliche, but she like saved my life, so to speak, because she gave me a purpose that I didn't realize I had. So I probably became a bit more determined and career driven more than ever before.
Right, okay.
So it kind of shifted me. So I went from being a bit less carefree to actually being like, head down, what do I need to do? This is going to be it. But I do think I've actually probably relaxed the more children I've had, and as I've matured. I mean, bless Theo, 4th kid, like he's just surviving. Like, at this point, I'm like, you'll be all right. Don't worry about it. He's eating this, he'll be fine. Like, poor sod, like he just gets like the last bit. When you've had 4, you're like, he'll be fine, and he is. He's so resilient. So I feel like I've become, because I've trusted myself more.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I got this far.
Yeah.
That was really hard. That was really challenging, but I did it. I got, she's got to her 5th birthday, 6th birthday, then I had 2, and then I think I can do this, and that became easier. So I think it came more with confidence and maturity in my motherhood journey versus age.
Yeah.
I think the hardest bit when you were younger for me was, I guess, the missing out. I didn't really do what all the other 22-year-olds were doing at the
But
time.
now you can.
But now I'm making it up. I've been out 3 nights in a row. And now I'm making up for it because the time and the place will come back around. I just guess didn't realise that at the time. So yeah, I think so.
So particularly for you, Rosie, how did you learn to adapt when you were going through motherhood and breast cancer?
So I guess for me, I just had to prioritise my health and try not to feel guilty about it. What we decided to do was my dad actually came to every single appointment and chemo session with me so that Charlie could always be there for the kids and be at home with them so that their life wasn't, interrupted and they always had a parent there. That was really important. And then I used to sleep at my mum's the night after I had chemo and some other times, if I needed to rest and she'd feed me and stuff. So I kind of just had to think, this is what I need to do to get better. And there's a bigger, reason behind it, even though it's not what I wanted to do. And I did feel guilty about it, especially with Ray because she was so tiny. Rudy was at school, so it wasn't such a big deal. And I had to put Ray into childcare as well because of that. I probably wouldn't have done that so early. But, she was fine and she enjoyed it. But I think, I just had to basically...
It's almost like you've got no choice.
Yeah.
You just have to get on with it.
Yeah. And I did actually sleep in the spare bedroom for literally 7 months because the chemo is so toxic and Ray sleeps in our bed. So I just didn't want her right next to me. And also I was having crazy hot flushes and just a really bad sleep anyway. So I slept in the spare room for ages. So we just had to do what we had to do basically to survive and get through it.
Yeah. And did you think it had, and maybe not even the cancer, but just your motherhood journey, did it drift you apart? Did you think it was actually, it brought you together in your relationship? Did it have an impact on that? Because we all talked about sleeping in separate beds, which does that have an impact? I mean, people always say it to us because they're like, how do you? And I'm like, we had 4 kids, so clearly we have no problem finding time to be alone with one another. But people talk about it quite a lot, don't they? If you're not together, what impact that has on your relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for us, Ray was so young. We were having a really stressful time anyway, renovating, just so you know.
Don't get Grace started on the renovation chat.
Basically, it's a stressful period of your life. We basically had a newborn, was renovating a house, and then I got diagnosed with breast cancer within a year. I think they're the 3 things you should do.
The trifecta of things that are very, very big.
So, I think probably sleeping with your kids does have a negative effect on your relationship. But I like them in there. And I've been through a lot of physical changes as well. So I think, we probably have some work to do. Yeah.
I love that.
On our relationship.
I think that's so important to talk about, but it's still a taboo thing. But we're the same. My libido just went to 0. And come 7 p.m, just don't talk to me, don't touch me. I'm done. And then also with my own medical trauma, and also just becoming a mum, and your body is different and it feels different, and your belly, you've got to kind of lift it. My belly, I've got to lift it, and my boobs this way and that way.
I'm like, you want to reach over, you got to reach right down,
it's down the side.
It's down the side of the bed. You got to reach all the way around for it.
It is different, and it's you're overstimulated, you're touched out, the mental load. I'm thinking of making a to-do list about the food shopping. Do you know what I mean? It is, and it does take work. And I think I used to feel quite ashamed about it, but it's very normal.
Yeah, it is.
It's very, very normal.
Yeah.
And I think as well, my mum, the animal in me, the lion, wants to protect my baby. So I want them in my bed more than I want to be with my partner. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I don't think. I think that's quite normal. But also the idea that the only time you can build that relationship or be intimate is in bed at night, which just isn't true. The laundry room is just as good, guys.
I need emotional intimacy as well.
You do. And I think we don't talk about that enough, and then people go, oh, well, you've got to do this and you've got to do this and you should be doing this, and then everyone has an expectation of what it should look like. But actually you have to make that effort. I'm a big person of like love languages and what that looks like, and exploring that stuff to reconnect as people.
When you're both tired and you're both like, you're working, and it is a lot, and I think sometimes your relationship takes the back, is that the last thing on the list.
Yeah.
Rachel, what about you? What have you done or doing between you and your partner to make sure you stay connected, particularly because you said about like co-sleeping separately? What do you do?
Reignite the fire.
What are you doing?
Perfect moment.
Yeah, but no, what are you doing to like make sure that you stay connected? I know you talked about communication, but I think actually I'd love to hear more about that, because it sounds like you have a beautiful relationship and you're really getting to grips with making sure that you stay connected.
Yeah, so I mean, before our kids came along, we always said we're going to make the effort to do like regular date nights and things like that, which we haven't kept up with as much because we don't just have the childcare. No, I know. But then we do kind of try and make the effort at home to, even if it's with the kids, to like sit down, have a nice meal together and stuff like that. But like recently we've actually been taking like annual leave and flexi leave from work, because that is literally when our kids are in childcare, because that's the only time we get to spend time with each other, just to have that quality time. And I think we've done it like on a monthly basis, like just said we're going to take that day off. We work in the same place as well, by the way, so although we are spending time together all the time, it's not like same quality time. So yeah, we've like said we're going to take that day off, and even like just take the day off, spend it in bed together, not even like that, but like just like to like watch our favourite programmes, have a little cuddle and stuff like that, and have that time while we know we can't be interrupted like by the kids needing something. Just always just making an effort just to.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like texting Trevor and Emily, you better book that day off.
Yeah, get your day off.
Take me to Costco.
Prioritise me. But also I feel like the friendships change as well as the relationships. Like your girls and how often you can see them, especially if a lot of my friends don't even have kids. So I've got one friend moving to Dubai, the other friend's always in LA. I've got one friend who's just bought a house, and I feel like we're all on different paths, and we try to like come together, even if it's like once or twice a year, just to like reconnect as like you know, girlies, because you just need your girl time.
It's really funny. My mum was saying the other day she misses her friends so much, like all of her friends that she made through her own children. Now that they've all got grandchildren, they have no time like to ever see each other, and she was like, I miss my friends so much, but now everyone's got grandkids, we
busy again.
So it goes
in cycles.
It
goes round and round and round. I think we forget the importance of that like friendship and sisterhood when we talk about relationships, because the primary person is normally your partner, but not everybody has a partner when they're parenting, and so that's different. My mum was a single mum like when she had me, so we talked about it recently actually, where I was like telling her I was going on yet another night out with my school mum friends, and she was like, you found your village, and I had these who she's still friends with now, but she was like, I had that because I didn't have a partner to share the load with, and so I had to share it with my sisters, like her friendship sisters. But she was like, they are the people who became that closeness, and she got them after. For some she had before, but for most of them she got after she had us. And she was like, the importance of that, I think we underestimate as people, as humans. Have you found that you've found that village in your like sisterhood and it's adapted your friendships, or actually it's pretty much the same?
I found two friends. One I met in the hospital when I had Rudy, and the other one we followed each other on Instagram, and we are like three best friends.
Love that.
We just message each other all the time on WhatsApp, you know, voice notes and stuff. We don't see each other as much now, again because people are back working and my friend moved away. But we've gone through every single thing together, and my motherhood journey would be so different without them.
The WhatsApp groups, I swear,
The best
Yeah.
thing.
The friends on the WhatsApp, they
Yeah.
just keep you going.
Yeah.
They do.
And voice notes. Just
Yeah.
great.
Hi guys, I'm having a
Yeah.
day.
I'll sometimes
times
text
two.
Grace,
But how are you? Love you, bye.
Yeah, Grace will message me and be like, "Can I?" And then be like, "Just send me a voice note. I listen to it in an hour." I'm like, "Okay," and then I'm like, "Record."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
Sometimes you need to
just
get
safe-
out
you
to be
do.
held and have
Yeah.
someone hold space for you, because I feel
Yeah.
like as mothers, we're doing a lot of the holding.
Yes.
I don't feel like men find that. They don't find that group though, do they? That we, the new friends, really.
I feel like they have like Trevor's had the same friends since like primary
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
had the same friends since primary school who we're still friends with now, and like that's been his constant. And they've, no matter what has changed in his life, when we had kids, when they didn't have kids, whatever, they've almost just stayed the same. He's got the same. Whereas my friendships have evolved and changed, and people have come in and gone. And then I've had a friend who maybe had kids at the same age, then they've moved, and it just has evolved and adapted and changed. I've got some core,
Yeah.
you know, continuous friends, but his has seemed to just stay the same. And then I've had this big evolvement.
I think I've found the opposite with like a lot of the men in my life, where they really struggle when they become fathers because they don't have that village
yeah.
of like, you know, their bros.
Yeah.
They've struggled with finding that, and I think that's a conversation that definitely needs to be had more. I think we should get some men on.
I mean, should we? I'm here for the gals.
We
I'm
are
here for the gals. We're here for the
One
gals.
episode of just men.
Yeah.
Like, so, welcome, labias.
Rachel, do you feel like your friendships have changed, or you found like this new circle of like mum friends, particularly when the kids become in childcare? And do you actually share them with your partner? Because you've both had the opportunity to like go on maternity leave. And then have you kind of got the same circle of friends or got different mum friends? What's that like?
We both have just like stuck to our circle of friends that we had before, and to be honest, I don't feel like we've got any closer to them or drifted further from them. I think with me, when I was pregnant, a couple of my friends were pregnant at the same time, so it was nice to have like them to chat over everything with, but I didn't see them very often. Like I feel like me and my partner just kind of we're in our own little bubble a lot of the time sometimes, because we don't get the chance to like meet up with our friends like I do every now and then when I do, it's like no time has passed. And we do, like you say, have the WhatsApp groups and stuff like that. So it's nice to talk them over that. But I don't feel like it's really affected my friendships. But I feel like maybe that's because I had kids like slightly later, like in my 30s.
Yeah.
Whereas if it had been a little bit earlier, maybe it would have affected a little bit more.
So now is the time to talk about the 3 a.m. confession part of the week, where we are going to talk about the things that people say in the dark, but we want to bring them to light because we don't do shame around here. So this week's 3 a.m. confession is from Radhika, and she is part of the Emma's Diary community, and this is what Radhika had to say.
I once just sat in the car for 20 minutes for me time. Am I being selfish?
Me on a daily.
No,
All of us
that is
immediately.
everybody.
No.
I just
Yeah.
go sit
45
upstairs
minutes.
on the bed sometimes.
Yeah.
Pretend I'm doing something.
100%.
No.
It's
Yeah.
not selfish
No.
at all.
That is a
Self-care
normal
is not selfish.
No.
reaction to the chaos of
Yeah.
children.
100%.
Alone time.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got myself a cheeky takeaway on my own for one, and sat in the car and eaten it. And I have done this, and like hopefully, well, I mean, Trevor should listen, but if he doesn't, hopefully he doesn't listen to this bit. I will also say that my train is delayed coming home, and I will sit in the car in the car park at the train station and read a book, because I'm not ready to go in,
No.
because once I go in, it's
That's it then.
everything else and everyone else, and I don't think people appreciate that you need that. You need
It's the
it.
decompression time between
Yeah.
the work hat that you've had on, and then putting on the mum hat. Like, you just need a little buffer
Yeah.
between.
And
100%.
just sit.
Yeah.
Just sit.
And regulate yourself.
Yeah.
in the quiet.
And like rock back and forth.
rock back and forth in the dark. We're going to rock back and forth in the dark. We need it. So anyway, we're saying Radhika, not selfish.
No.
Not selfish at all.
Necessary. Thank you.
We should do it more often.
Yes. Yes. Okay, we're moving on to the myth of the week.
Myth
Are
of
you
the
ready? Sophie has said the identity shift only happens the first time you have a child.
No, I think that's a myth.
Well, I can debunk that because obviously my experiences were totally different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had two
Yes.
different identity shifts. The first time it was a little bit subtler because I didn't go through all the changes. The second time it hit me a bit like a train. But then I also think it depends what your circumstances are at the time. And then when you have kids, like one child isn't necessarily the same.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have different struggles. So it changes who you are as a person in different ways.
Agreed.
Yeah, I definitely
Okay.
changed between both kids. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. And then I thought there's only about a year gap between having Cyprus and Kamiko. So my hormones just hadn't settled down at all. And I was pregnant again and had another baby. So only now, like 3 years postpartum from my second, that I feel like I'm coming back to just like grace.
Yeah. I was listening to something the other day and someone said, like, your identity will continuously evolve, like in life, whether you're a parent or not, but just in life. But I definitely think it evolves like every time you have a child, not just the first time.
And any big life shift.
Any big life event, your identity will shift because what you prioritize is different, what you value is different, how you see things is different, like the practicalities of existing is different. And I've totally evolved. I had Sophia and then Isabella, and then I had Jason, who had additional needs, who had didn't walk till he was nearly 3. It was so different. So then I had to evolve again. I had to adapt again.
But how
and then
beautiful
I
is
had
the
to change.
evolvement though?
100%.
It is
You
like
become
amazing.
Yeah. But my identity changed. The version of the mum I was. It was like version 1, and then it was version 2.0, version 3.0, version 4.0, and that I don't know if version 5.0 is. Well, I'm trying to get to 5.0. But I feel like every time there is a new evolvement and a new identity and a new version of you. Rosie, if you could go back to any moment, particularly when you were first diagnosed, what would you say to yourself if you could go back to that moment?
Oh God. I actually don't really remember the moment that I was told. It's just such
Must
a
be a
shock,
blur.
and you just don't expect that to happen to you. But probably it would just be like, you're stronger than you know. Like, I didn't realise. I know that sounds so cliche.
No, it doesn't
but,
at all. I get it.
Like, you find strength, and the children have really been my strength, but you find strength that you didn't know you have. And I think just being a mum, you just have to, like, you get on with it, don't you? I didn't have a choice, but I didn't think these things were going to, you know, happen to me, and they have, and I've had to get through it, and
I love that though. You're stronger than you know.
Yeah.
Because we all
definitely.
are, and I
Yeah,
think
we
it's hard.
are.
We don't realise that,
No.
do you? You don't. When you're in the moment, you can't see
No.
what's going to transpire.
Yeah,
or how
and
that
what
comes
you think is
about.
like, I can't do it, or like impossible.
Yeah,
It's very much possible.
Yeah.
I remember being in rehab, so after Cyprus, and I was in a coma, had to learn to walk again. And like, you obviously, as adults, like as children, you learn to walk, but like it's a thing that you do, you fall down, you're so close to the ground, it doesn't hurt. So when you're an adult, you think, I could fall over, like you're shook about it. So I remember thinking, I have to learn to walk again, and I cannot imagine having to do that. And then one day I just took a step. And that turns into like 2 steps and like 20 steps. And it's like exactly what you were saying, Rosie. Like, you don't realise what you have until you need to tap into it. And it just comes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Inner lioness is like,
yes. Like
in
mama
your
mode,
throat.
full warrior.
Yeah.
She comes. It's like
Yeah.
all our ancestors are like there.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you can do this. And you do it.
Yeah.
Rachel, I'll come to you. When did you start to feel like yourself again? Because it takes a while. I mean, we kept saying 2 years, 7 years. I mean, I'm still trying. But when did you start to feel like yourself again?
I think it was at the point where I realised I had to do something to make a change. Like, after I put a lot of weight on during pregnancy, and then after pregnancy I continued to put on weight. I was just like junk food, kind of buried my head in the sand. And then it was like earlier in the year, February, I looked at myself and I thought, no, I've got to make a change here. Like, I've got to prioritise myself, like not only for me, but for my kids as well. So I started making little changes, started eating better, exercising. And then when I started to do that, I started to feel better about myself, started to get some of my identity back.
Yeah.
I just think, because I was in that mum mode, nothing else really mattered. Like, I wasn't taking care of myself. But then it got to a point where I was like, I have to.
Yeah, and that's so important. They always say, don't they, like when you're on planes and stuff, you put the like life jacket on yourself before you do it to someone else. And but we seem to forget that in motherhood because it becomes protect the babies, do everything for the babies, prioritize the babies. They need everything. They eat the healthiest, most organic thing, and I'm just like shoving a biscuit in my face. And we forget that actually prioritizing yourself is so important to get back to feeling like
And that's how
yourself.
they learn, you know, when they become adults, to put themselves first. Because if they don't see us, you know, looking after ourselves, they're not going to learn.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I try and tell myself when I'm like struggling to like prioritize myself, like think about what actually they need to learn through me, like through us. So that always tends to help, like when I'm struggling.
Yeah, I always say children would do what you do, not what you say. So we could tell them, you should do this and you're beautiful and you're amazing. But if they can't see us embodying that prioritization of self-care or, you know, the confidence or all the things that we want to see them do, how do they get an example of it? And I think that's what's shifted me into becoming me and wanting to do that, is because I'm like, they're going to do what I do. I need them to see me do it so that they know they can do it. So for me, that looks like all sorts of things. But I want to know, what do you do for you now, Rosie? How do you prioritize yourself? What does that look like for you?
I still don't have that much time to prioritize myself, but I like to go for a walk. That is like one thing. Even if in the evening I just feel like tapped out, if I just go for a walk, even for 20 minutes, it just like
Clears.
Yeah, it makes me come back, like self-regulates me, makes me feel calmer. I'm trying to do Pilates, but I'm not that consistent.
Oh, reformer Pilates is like the
it.
new thing. I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
I nearly died in the first class, but it was fine.
But I think like my evening routine, you know, like having it's so boring, but like having a nighttime tea,
Yeah.
doing my skincare, just those small things actually really make me happy. I've had a few girls' holidays this year. I'm just trying to make up for lost time.
Yeah.
So whenever anyone asks me to do something, I'm like, yeah. So
I think I need a
girls'
holiday
trips.
next year.
They definitely fill your cup.
I mean, the Village podcast abroad, I'm down if you are.
On tour, yeah.
On tour.
Budget
In the sunshine. We're ready
Anyone?
when you are. What about you, Rachel? What do you do for you now?
Yeah, working out is a big one.
Yeah.
So I've got like the home treadmill. I know walking pads are really big at the minute, and Pilates. Like you were saying, I haven't done reformer yet, but I've been doing like the YouTube, the mat Pilates, and honestly, it's just, I love it. Like it's one of them things I really enjoy. I did start doing like a little bit of weightlifting and stuff at home. I don't know if you've seen those AI mirrors that you can get where you work where you work out. Have you not?
No.
It's basically like a personal trainer in a mirror, and it like counts your reps and stuff like that. So I've got one of those at home. Honestly,
Oh my God, I love that for you.
It's really good. So I started doing that, but then I got bored of weightlifting, and then I thought this isn't for me. So I started doing Pilates, and I'm like, it's much more chilled. But yeah, working out is a big one. Just listening to podcasts,
Yeah, I like to
reading
listen to
and stuff
podcasts.
where I can. Just
Listen
I
to
don't get a
the
lot of time
Village.
to
Yeah.
take care of myself either. It's just little bits here and there that you've got to kind
Yeah.
of do, isn't it?
I love you also just said like watch it on YouTube, because I think there's a practicality side of carving that time out for yourself. So going to the gym isn't accessible
No
for
way.
everyone
No,
all the time.
absolutely
But
not.
being able to just put it on the telly or
Yeah.
do it in the living room or on the kitchen
Yeah.
floor, on your bedroom floor, you suddenly think, oh, actually, this becomes a bit more accessible to people, because I think there is a practical side of not everyone can leave the house to go and do certain things, but actually just going for a walk or doing keeping it simple, because I think we sometimes worry and overcomplicate it, and actually it's just carving that little time or sitting in the car, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, and I feel like it's important for yourself as mothers, because you just get lost otherwise. Like if you do nothing for yourself, you just sort of disappear, fall into the back. And I just think that that's when the low mood comes in, and the resentment that you have and stuff. I just think it's really important for us to actually give ourselves that time and that space.
Yep.
I think when you've wanted to be a mum for so long, though, I think like for the longest time, like myself and my wife, that was all that we wanted, because like we went through like IVF and fertility treatment, and we're very much focused on this is what we want. And then you do start to feel guilty for making that time for yourself and stuff as well. But it is so important that you do that. But the first year, it was like,
It's tough.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so what's something you wish you'd known before you had kids? Because I feel like there's a lot. I feel like I thought I was prepared. I was not prepared.
If you thought you were tired, you were not.
Not really, yeah.
I don't know. I just think you can't even really, you can't prepare someone,
No.
can you? And when people say, like, let the kids slot into your life, don't change who you are, just, let them fit into your life. I think that's so difficult. Like, hats off to people that do that. My kids have changed my life and everything revolves around them. So, you have to be adaptable.
Yeah.
For sure.
What about you, Rachel?
I think everything is a phase and it'll pass. Like, it's so easy to get stressed out in the moment when something's like really hard, but things do pass. It gets easier. It always does.
Yeah.
And you can't say that when you're in it, but yeah.
Is there any advice you tell someone who feels like they are lost, they're not sure who they are anymore, and I guess they're at the bottom of the pile, they've disappeared?
It is okay to take time for you. Like, do not feel guilty for doing that, because like we've just said, like, you have to look after yourself to look after them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Rosie?
I agree, really. I just think, you need to just take time for yourself, and those little changes. It doesn't need to be something big, but
And having the little routine. So, like, for me, it was always like getting up, showering, and like doing my skincare, even if it was like moisturizer and a lip balm, just like in the morning and in the evening, just like a little ritual for myself that was just for me to make me feel good, and just start there. Like you said, it hasn't got to be like a big extravagant routine, but just something for yourself, a daily walk or nice hot tea.
I was
hot
going to say,
coffee,
even a
just a hot drink.
Go and
sitting down and actually drinking the drink.
Not just making it or
Yeah,
buying
yeah.
it,
Drinking
actually
it.
drinking
Yeah,
it
yeah.
in peace. Thank you so much. I love the advice that you shared. One thing we ask all our guests is, what's the best piece of advice you've been given? And what's that thing that someone's told you about motherhood or about life or whatever it might be that has stuck with you and has been something that you've kind of carried through your motherhood journey? Rachel, I'll come to you.
I would say don't compare your everyday to somebody's highlight reel, because with social media it's so easy to fall into the comparison trap. Like, but people are sharing the best bits, and that is what you've got to realise. Like, they're not going to share like the breakdown at 3 a.m, the kids' tantrums. Like, that's not, I mean, some people do, but like, you don't see the ins and outs of everything, and it's just really, really important that you don't get caught up in it.
Yeah, great. What about you, Rosie?
This is really simple, but you know your child best. I think, no one knows your child like you do. I even think sometimes dads don't know them like you do they?
Yeah.
They make like...
It's like intuition, isn't it?
You just know what they want. Just by
And the way
looking
they
at
speak, your babies, and they talk and they say gibberish, but you
Understand,
understand. And your partner's like, what? You're like, they want a biscuit.
And they've got, you're like, they want a chocolate biscuit with a milk on the side.
Yeah, exactly that.
I love that. Thank you both so much. That has been a wrap on this episode. You've both been incredible. So thank you, Rosie and Rachel.
And I feel like this episode will make others feel less alone, hopefully, and that all of us have gone through a stage where we think, who are we?
Yeah, I agree. And you've both had such different journeys, and I feel like listeners are going to just be able to relate, like hard relate, and I think that's what we want with every episode.
So
we want people to say yes.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.